It all started with the theater club. I never thought I'd join, but Mr. Peterson was desperate for more people in the spring production. "David, we need guys for the ensemble." "Just think about it," he asked after English class. When I showed up to the first rehearsal, I immediately regretted it. The play was Les Miserables, and I was assigned to the ensemble. Nothing unusual there, except I noticed how few guys had signed up. "We're going to have some of you play multiple roles," the director explained, scanning the room. Her eyes landed on me. "David, you have delicate features. Would you mind playing one of the factory women in addition to your ensemble part?" I felt my face flush as everyone turned to look at me. I wanted to say no, but something stopped me. Maybe it was not wanting to seem difficult on my first day, or maybe it was curiosity. Either way, I shrugged and mumbled, "I guess that's fine." My friend Jasmine squeezed my arm. "Don't worry, I'll help with your makeup and stuff. It'll be fun." After rehearsal, I found myself in Jasmine's bedroom surrounded by clothes she thought might work for my costume. "You're about my size, maybe a little taller," she said, holding up a long skirt against my waist. "We should try some things on to see what works best." I hesitated. "Isn't the costume department handling this?" "Sure, eventually. But better to have some ideas first, right?" She grinned. "Plus, I've always thought you'd look cute in some of my clothes." I rolled my eyes but laughed. Jasmine and I had been friends since middle school. There was nothing weird between us, just the easy comfort of long friendship. "Fine," I said, "but no pictures." The moment I slipped on the first outfit, a simple blouse and skirt, something shifted inside me. It wasn't dramatic, just a quiet feeling of rightness. I stood looking in her full-length mirror, surprised by how I didn't hate it. "Wow," Jasmine whispered. "David, you look natural." I turned sideways, examining my profile. "Really? You don't think I look ridiculous?" "Not at all," she said, coming up behind me. "Here, let me..." She gathered my shaggy hair back with a clip. "There. You have such a nice jawline, you know." Over the next few weeks, rehearsals intensified. I found myself not just tolerating but looking forward to the scenes where I played a factory woman. The costume department had indeed taken over, and they seemed impressed with how easily I carried the female attire. "You have a natural grace," Mrs. Wilson, the costume designer, told me. "Most boys would be clomping around like elephants in these skirts." At home, I didn't tell my dad about the dual roles. He'd been raising me alone since Mom died 3 years ago, and while he was supportive of my interests, I wasn't sure how he'd feel about this particular development. Everything changed when Jasmine convinced me to come to her house to practice makeup before the dress rehearsal. "I don't want you looking like a clown on stage," she insisted. "Stage makeup is an art." She sat me down at her vanity and worked carefully, explaining each step. Foundation to even my skin tone. Subtle contouring to soften my features. A touch of blush, mascara, and lip color. "Keep your eyes closed," she instructed. I felt the gentle pressure of her fingers on my face, the soft brush of makeup applicators. It was strangely calming, like meditation. "Okay, look." I opened my eyes and barely recognized myself. It wasn't over the top or garish. It was pretty. I looked soft, my features harmonized in a way I'd never seen before. "Jasmine," I whispered, "how did you do this?" She smiled, meeting my eyes in the mirror. "I didn't do much. It's mostly just you." That night, I dreamed I was on stage, performing, the lights warm on my skin. But I wasn't switching between roles. I was just me, neither completely boy nor girl, just David. I woke up feeling lighter than I had in months. The week of the show arrived, and with it came more intensive rehearsals. I found myself staying late to perfect my transitions between characters. After one particularly late rehearsal, only a few of us remained in the theater. I was still in my factory woman costume, having just run through that scene. "Hey, nice work today." I turned to find John, who played Marius, leaning against the stage. John was a senior, handsome, and confident in a way that made most people, girls and guys alike, a little nervous around him. "Thanks," I said, suddenly self-conscious about my appearance. "You know, when Peterson first said you'd be playing a woman, I thought it would be, like, comical. But you're actually really convincing." I wasn't sure if that was a compliment. Thanks, I guess." John climbed onto the stage. No, I mean it. You move differently when you're in character. It's subtle, but it's there, he demonstrated, mimicking my walk with surprising accuracy. You have this grace. It's interesting. I laughed nervously, just trying not to trip over the skirt. Nah, it's more than that. He studied me for a moment. Have you ever thought about this stuff before? Like, outside of the play? The question hung in the air. Those quiet moments in Jasmine's room, looking in the mirror. The strange comfort I felt in these clothes, with subtle makeup warming my face. I don't know. I answered honestly. Maybe. He nodded, seeming to understand something I hadn't fully articulated myself. Cool. Hey, a few of us are going for pizza after tomorrow's dress rehearsal. You should come. Even like this? I gestured to my costume. David shrugged. Especially like this. It's who you are in the play, right? Besides, it's just Plaza Pizza. Nobody will care. The next night, still in costume and makeup from the dress rehearsal, I found myself sliding into a booth at Plaza Pizza with John, Jasmine, and a few other cast members. I'd texted my dad that I'd be late, saying we were all going out after rehearsal. I expected stares or comments from other customers, but most people barely glanced our way. We were just theater kids after all, and this was a college town. People had seen stranger things than a boy in a skirt. As we ate and laughed, dissecting the rehearsal and sharing theater gossip, I realized how comfortable I felt. Not just with my friends, but in my skin. The makeup was still on my face, the pins still in my hair, and yet I hadn't rushed to the bathroom to remove them as I'd initially planned. See, Jasmine whispered when the others were distracted by a debate about the musical's finale. I told you nobody would care. And you look really nice. I smiled, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. Thanks. It feels nice, actually. Being out with friends? That too. But also just this. I gestured vaguely to my appearance. I don't know how to explain it. The conversation around us had quieted, and I realized everyone was listening. You don't have to explain it, John said. Just do what feels right. The sincerity in his voice caught me off guard. This was the popular senior, the guy everyone admired, and he was telling me it was okay to be whatever this was. Opening night arrived, and with it came the familiar flutter of stage nerves. But there was something else too. Excitement. For the first time in ages, I felt like I was discovering something true about myself. My dad had arrived early to get a good seat. I hadn't told him about my dual roles, but he'd find out soon enough. As I peeked through the curtain at the filling auditorium, I spotted him in the third row, program in hand. You ready? Jasmine appeared beside me, already in her costume. I think so, I said. My dad's here. She squeezed my hand. He's going to be proud of you. You're amazing in this, David. The show went perfectly. The energy of opening night carried us through, and when I made my first appearance as a factory woman, I felt completely present in the role. During the curtain call, the applause washed over me like a wave, and I couldn't stop smiling. Afterward, still in costume but with my makeup slightly smudged from sweat, I found my dad waiting in the lobby, a bouquet of flowers in his hands. Dad, what did you think? I asked, trying to gauge his reaction to seeing me like this. He handed me the flowers. You were incredible, David. All your parts were great, but... He hesitated. When you were playing that factory worker, there was something special happening. You seemed, I don't know, like you were glowing from within. I blinked back unexpected tears. Really? You're not weirded out. By what? My kid being a fantastic performer. He pulled me into a hug. I'm proud of you. Always. Over his shoulder, I saw John and Jasmine watching us, both smiling. John gave me a thumbs up, and Jasmine blew a kiss. That night, as I carefully removed the stage makeup from my face, I studied my reflection. Underneath all the foundation and powder was still me, David, but somehow different too. As if I'd uncovered a part of myself that had been waiting to be acknowledged. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know if this was a phase or something more permanent. But for the first time, I felt like I had permission to explore the question. My phone buzzed with a text from Jasmine. You were beautiful tonight. Lunch tomorrow to celebrate. I smiled and typed back, definitely. And Jasmine? Thank you for everything. As I set my phone down, another text came through, this one from John. Hey, some of us are going to the lake next weekend. You should come. Just be yourself, whoever that is. I felt a flutter in my stomach that had nothing to do with stage fright. Whoever that is, I whispered to my reflection. It felt like both a question and an answer, the beginning of something new.